Throughout his 50-year television career, Gerry Anderson's name was forever associated with puppets, something of an irony considering he never set out to work with them. But now his puppetry legacy is about to continue with Gerry Anderson's Firestorm. In 1957, Gerry Anderson's first puppet television series, The Adventures of Twizzle, produced for writer Roberta Lee, was the only work available at that time, and the basic and sometimes nightmarish nature of the puppets she presented him with made him determined to refine and improve the process as much as possible. By the time of Supercar in 1960, the puppets were beginning to look more human, although occasionally that was debatable. A process by which the puppet's lips would move in response to pre-recorded dialogue was introduced, and then given an unforgettable name. Supercar was the first Anderson series to be filmed in glorious Supermarionation. In addition to a cast of memorable human characters, his next two series, Fireball XL5 and Stingray, also provided the puppet sculptors with the chance to let their imaginations run riot when it came to producing the show's guest aliens. Stingray was also the first Anderson series to feature puppet characters sporting several different facial expressions. By the end of production on Thunderbirds, continuing developments in technology meant that the lip-syncing mechanism could now be produced to a smaller scale, small enough to be placed inside the puppets' chests rather than their heads. So the next series, Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons, presented a cast of characters created in human proportions. This development came at a price. The more realistic look of the characters meant exaggerated puppet-like movements would now look extremely distracting, and thus the puppets would now be even more reliant than ever on using almost any other method than walking to get from A to B. Captain Scarlet also brought another innovation. In shots which didn't show their legs, puppets could now be operated from below, which meant that they could travel in vehicles without their wires poking out of the top. By the end of Joe 90, these under-control puppets were capable of an impressive variety of movements that wouldn't have been possible if they were being operated from above. In the 1980s, Terrorhawks used sophisticated glove puppets, which gave the show's characters a greater freedom of movement than the Supermarionation marionettes. Anderson would later create two fully animated series using the stop-motion method, Dick Spanner and Lavender Castle, but would never create another full series using puppets. Although thought by many to be a lost art, the Supermarionation puppetry technique is still being kept alive on projects such as filmed in Supermarionation and Thunderbirds 1965. But a whole new generation is waiting for the next Gerry Anderson puppet series, and Anderson Entertainment knew that they were going to have to take a giant leap forward in puppetry to capture the imagination of a modern audience by evolving Anderson puppetry into a brand new method. That method is Ultramarionation, which builds on nearly 60 years of puppet development. While resembling the puppets from the Thunderbirds era, Ultramarionation puppets can do things that their Supermarionation ancestors sometimes struggled to, such as walk, run, and jump, even out of exploding buildings. The puppets are controlled via a range of methods, including rod, under control, remote control, and occasionally by strings or wires, and feature advanced facial animatronics enabling them to express emotion like never before. Heading into production in 2019, Gerry Anderson's Firestorm is set to continue an incredible 60-year legacy like never before, and bring puppetry firmly into the 21st century for a brand new audience.